Hi guys, this is me, Ethan Strachan, and today on EBS Supernatural I'm back with another video for you guys. So today in this very exciting video, I'm going to show you guys on how to make a ventriloquist dummy head. So that's what I'm going to do in this very exciting video. Also, one thing, do apologize of the wind in the background. Sometimes it gets windy sometimes, and sometimes I hear noises outside, but that's just the way it is. But so yeah, I thought I would do a little exciting video for you guys. So a lot of you guys were asking on how I made the ventriloquist dummy heads. So I thought I'll do a very interesting video to help you guys on what's best for you to use when you're making your own ventriloquist dummy head. And I'm pretty sure this video will be okay, but trust me, I'm pretty sure you'll understand on what material is best and what's the right kind of way to make a ventriloquist dummy head. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys on how I make them. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I think the first step is to plan out on what your ventriloquist dummy is going to look like. So there is a lot of images of different type of ventriloquist dummies, and they are easy to choose from because when you're planning out making a ventriloquist dummy, I notice sometimes if I'm planning out making a new ventriloquist dummy or a ventriloquist dummy which I'm thinking to make, sometimes I draw my own character ventriloquist dummies, and sometimes their style is based on different type of styles. There's a Len Insel style one, there's a McElroy one, and there's even another Insel one. So you got to think about on what type of you got to think about planning out on what kind of character you're creating if you're creating your own ventriloquist dummy. But it's interesting. So it's simple as that. So basically you plan out on what your type of style is going to look like, and what your own character is going to look like. But it looks pretty interesting. But it takes a lot of time to plan it out. But yeah, looks interesting. So so about these ventriloquist dummy heads that I make, they're made out of a really unusual material. It's made out of Modrock. If you don't know what Modrock is, it's basically it's a plaster bandage material. When you find them, they're actually plaster bandages in a bag, in a little package, and when you open them, then they're it's like a roll of plaster bandage. It's basically one of this stuff, and this head is made out of Modrock. When it dries, it becomes solid. So basically, this one is made out of Modrock, and on how I made it, basically it's simple. So I basically made a sculpture of this head, and I covered it up with Modrock, and when it's properly dry, and after a few layers to make it solid, then I cut it with a Dremel, and then I split it open, and then you get a shell a plaster shell, and I plastered it all together, and then yeah, I plastered it back together, and then you have something like that. It's probably dry. It's all smoothed out with filler and modeling clay and all sorts, but it looks kind of interesting. So basically, it's not actually a casted. It's not casted head. It's basically a simple thing. So basically, you make a sculpture of this head, then you cover it up with plaster, with lots of layers. Try not to get too much layers on it, and when it becomes dry, it's rock solid. Then you cut it with a Dremel, and you split it open and remove the clay out of the shell, and then you have something like that. And it looks pretty interesting. So here's the picture of what the Modrock looks like. So basically it's like this type of stuff, and yeah, so basically Modrock is basically like a craft material, and basically it's like the very popular stuff to use. And basically Modrock is actually well, it's actually plaster bandages, the same stuff that other people use for broken bones and stuff like that, for like a plaster cast or something. So yeah, it's basically this type of stuff, and when it dries, it becomes rock solid. I actually have a clay sculpture. So this is the clay sculpture, and it looks pretty interesting. As you guys recognize, this is the very first sculpture that I did of my Millie Bobby Brown inspired ventriloquist dummy, and it looks pretty interesting. So basically, this is the clay. This is the clay head, and basically, what you need to do is to get your idea on what your character is going to look like. So basically, you sculpt it, and then you basically put the plaster on it, and then when it dries, then you cut it in half, as you can see with the lines, which is pretty unusual. So here's a little quick picture of what the sculpture looks like. This is actually this is one of the earliest style that I was thinking to use for when I was creating Millie. This is the very first sculpture of Millie, as you can see. So one thing which most people do when they're casting their ventriloquist dummy heads, sometimes they make silicon molds. I'll show you one right now. So this is a silicon mold. It's in they're in a plaster shell. Here's the front half, and there's the back half online, and it basically shows you pictures on how they did it. So basically, they sometimes when they're making ventriloquist dummies, sometimes when they're making their ventriloquist dummy heads, sometimes they carve them out of wood, sometimes they're made out of fiberglass, and sometimes they make castings. So basically, it's a very simple process. So basically, you have to make a mold of the sculpture, and then you make a casting of the sculpture, and you'll have something that looks like that. It's pretty interesting. So basically, that mold is made out of silicon, and basically, this silicon is easy to pull out castings. So basically, you make a sculpture on what your ventriloquist dummy head's going to look like, and then after you sculpted it and make sure it's okay, then you cover it up with silicon, and then when the silicon has the right thickness of layers, then when it dries, then you cover it up with plaster, and you have two halves, and then when the plaster is dry, you crack it open, and then you cut this in half, and you cut the silicon in half, and then you take the two parts off, and then you have something like that. And once your mold is fully checked out to make sure there's no bits of dirt on it, and make sure there's no bubbles in it, and basically here it is, and yeah, you get something like that, and you put plaster in it and make sure everything is nice and filled in. I'm not talking about the fluffy, like, powdery plaster stuff. I'm talking about the Modrock stuff, the plaster bandages. So basically, you put the plaster bandages and stuff in the ear parts and the nose and the mouth. You make sure it's all nice and stuffed in, and make sure it's all great. And then you get when it's all dry, and when it's all dried out and fully rock hard, then you have your own casted head, and it's ready for you to put it all together and fill in the cracks, and you have a ventriloquist dummy head ready for the mechanical part. So that's it for today's episode on showing you guys on how to make a ventriloquist dummy. If you have any questions or answers, please let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate that. So I hope this video will help you guys. So next episode, I'm gonna show you guys on how to put it all together and do all the mechanisms and all the other stuff. So I hope this video will help you guys, and if you have any questions or answers, please let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate that. And if you have any questions, if you need any help, then I can always look something up and then I'll send it to you. So yeah, I hope this video will help you guys to make your own. So if you have any ideas, then please let me know. And if you want to be a member of my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to me. Really appreciate that. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time, and take care and stay safe. Goodbye.